I know you're gonna dig this.
Just a few observations here that you can deal with, disregard, or
take that for data.
ESPN radio host Freddie Coleman would stick out as plain as day if he showed up at a press box and stayed seated during the national anthem. Colin Kaepernick stood out like that on NFL fields last season, his afro radiating as he took a knee during the national anthem. Kaepernick was protesting the mistreatment of black males by police officers. Now he's out of a job as an NFL quarterback. Yet the wonder, though, is whether journalists, particularly journalists who applauded Kaepernick's courage, would consider similar protests for the sake of solidarity. When press boxes open for football season, stadium announcers will direct everybody in the arenas to stand for the national anthem. Media members in those press boxes will have a choice to make. Will they keep their seats during the national anthem? Coleman, a black man, already answered that question.
No, and here's why. Because I'm not saying that I don't have a problem with anybody deciding to stand or not stand for the national anthem, because you've made it about you, and that's what the national anthem does for me. When the national anthem is ready to be sung or the flag is being raised, I take my hat off and I put it across my heart and I sing the national anthem. And I'm not going to let anybody or anything take away the pride that I'm going to have when I sing the words to the national anthem.
Terrence Moore is a visiting professor of journalism at Miami University in Ohio.
There is no way under any circumstances that I would not stand for the national anthem. That would be totally out of the question. That would not happen.
When Moore was a sports columnist for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, he had a choice to make. He was a black journalist covering Super Bowl 34. It was the year 2000, and the Reverend Jesse Jackson was among those opposing the Confederate battle symbol remaining part of the Georgia state flag.
And there was a group of black sports writers who wanted the black writers at the Super Bowl, and it was only a handful anyway, maybe 3 of us, 4 at most, to walk out during the national anthem in protest of the Confederate flag still being the state flag here in Georgia. And I told the group that I was not going to do it. And lo and behold, when the flag finally was changed to a great degree, the organizers of that event, the civil rights leaders in Atlanta and through Georgia, cited my columns in general, and one column I wrote in particular, as being a huge reason they were able to kind of get the momentum going. Now, if I had to become part of that story earlier, I think that would change the entire complexion of the situation. So for me, 1, you can't be involved in the story as a journalist, and 2, from a journalistic standpoint, there are way more effective ways to get your point across, particularly since you have the power of the pen and of the camera.
While Coleman said he would not protest the national anthem, he does argue that there's room for media members to do so without calling into question their professionalism.
People have to remember, and it's the same thing with athletes, John, we're people too. We're human beings, and we're going to have emotions, and plenty of people have inserted themselves into that story, whether they decided to do that or anybody speaking out against people that want to do that.